late 19th century.
She has to unmute there. Mute there.
Indians know that. Yes.
If you have any व्यासेन ग्रथितारणमुनिना मध्ये So, there's something wrong with the mind. may I suggest one thing? If you unmute and disconnect from there, you want to try that? Okay. But this mic is not okay. Even after muting, it doesn't work. Now? See? Okay. Why don't you just switch off the mic and I'll unmute. Now can they hear? No, you can hear. The people on Zoom. Yeah. So let's just leave it at that. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
I'll just have to speak a little louder. Okay. Just as a river is a flow of water, life is a flow of experiences. So the unit of life is an experience. Now, what has happened? Now? Okay. Thank God, I don't have to scream. So, you, no,
Let's leave it
no,
at
no,
that.
no. It's not working. Okay. You, the individual. Who are you is the question. Have you ever wondered when you're stressed out, when you're upset about something, what happens? You attribute your misery to something, someone outside yourself, right? It never occurs to you that maybe, just maybe, there's something wrong inside, in your mind, in your attitude, in your approach, in the way you look at things. It's very easy to blame the outside world. But as long as you're blaming something outside, you'll never find the solution because you have no control over anything outside you. Isn't that true? And the last person on earth you have any control over is your spouse. So don't even try that. So who are you is the question. You know, there's something wrong with the whole system because the slides are not moving. I've used everything. Up, down, right, left.
Check you out, guys. Here's the presentation.
Shut it.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
No, it's here.
Yeah. But see, it's not moving. Once you go here,
Right.
one end. Now suppose you
Yeah.
go here, it doesn't move. It's supposed to move.
Okay. Okay. So it's moving now.
Okay, yeah, now.
It's moving.
Okay, lesson number 1 is the intellect. Who are you is the question. You have a physical body. When you stand before the mirror, you see yourself, right? You see yourself means you see your body, but that's not all of you. Within the body, you have 2 wonderful instruments which are called your inner personality, the mind and the intellect. Now, this is of utmost importance. You must know what makes you tick. What is driving you to activity? What is the driving force within you? And how they operate. So let's take a look. Number 1, the mind is the realm of feelings, emotions, likes and dislikes, loves and hates. It's by its very nature irrational. Even in English, we say love is blind, right? Emotions like love, hatred, jealousy, envy, anger, all of this is irrational. And then, fortunately for us, we also have another entity called the intellect, which is the domain of logic, analysis, reason, rationality. Now, in life, let's take a further look at these 2. The mind imagines things. See, a lady in Delhi once told me that her mother-in-law is doing black magic on her. You're laughing. She genuinely believed it. And the truth is that her mother-in-law was a wonderful person. The problem was with her. But she thought this, you imagine things. It's the intellect which sees reality, which is able to figure things out and say, no, what I feel is wrong. So therefore, the mind tricks you. into believing all kinds of things. It is the intellect that guides you properly. The mind distracts you. When you're trying to concentrate, right now, you're trying to concentrate on what I'm saying, you get distracted. Therefore, we ask for cell phones to be muted and kept aside, not in your hand. Because otherwise, you're constantly, it's a source of distraction. It's the intellect that keeps focus. And the mind misleads you. Like in life, you're constantly seeing a mirage. You know what a mirage is? You see water in the desert where there is only sand. Similarly, friends, you see happiness out there. In the Ramayana, Sita fell for a golden fleeting deer. Prior to that, she was perfectly happy whether she was enjoying the luxuries of the palace in Ayodhya or going through the rigors of Vanvas. Equally happy, as long as her focus was on Ram. The moment she got distracted, her problems began. The golden fleeting deer is what all of us have fallen for. Golden, tantalizing, attractive, fleeting, but passing. Deer, D-E-E-R is all that is D-E-A-R to us. Worldly things. And Ram tries his best to tell Sita, it is not what it appears to be. But she didn't listen. And when a wife insists, you know, the husband has no choice but to give it. So off he went to get the deer. Now, that is your mind. It misleads you. You believe happiness is out there. You believe pleasure is here. And you chase after it all your life. You're chasing after a mirage. This is what we need to understand. So this doesn't mean you lead a boring life. We'll come to that. It just means you understand reality. That's all. So the mind, in the end, it destroys you. It keeps on. It's called what is a pester power. You know what a child does? It keeps pestering the parent till the parent gets fed up and says yes. Isn't that what happens? This is what your mind does. The mind is the child in you. It keeps pestering you till you give in. There's a lady in the Bay Area, I've just come from there, who had, when I came in 2019, the top of the line 7-seater Tesla. This time I went, she says, I sold it. I said, why? You were so excited about it. So she told me the excitement of that Tesla lasted only for 3 months. After that, her experience, she told me this, her experience in that car was the same as her old car. Fortunately, she used her intellect. She said, and for those 3 months of pleasure, I have paid this much extra. Not worth it. So she sold it and got herself an ordinary car. What she considers ordinary, it's still a luxury car. This is it, friend. The intellect helps you to construct your life. You know, in Othello, Shakespeare's play Othello, Othello had a complex because he was black, his wife was white, his station in life was lower than his wife's. And that complex is what, in the end, led to destruction. So you must watch out for the complex, you know, these insecurities that you entertain, these little complexes that we have, that we're not good enough. From where you collected it, God knows, but you have it. You got to watch out for it because that's where the mind plays tricks. So when Iago, the villain of the piece, told him, you know, he stole the handkerchief from Desdemona, his wife, and gave it to Cassio. And As he was wiping his beard with that handkerchief, Iago told Othello, see, he's wiping his beard with your mother's handkerchief. Where did he get it from? Implying that his wife was having an affair with Cassio. And he had nothing against Desdemona. He was jealous of Cassio. But it had a terrible effect. Because the next thing you know, Othello goes and strangles his own wife to death. This is it. The mind never gives up till it destroys you completely. Say a person who's indulging in insider trading on the stock market. He keeps on till he gets caught and pushed into prison. That is the mind. And that can happen to any one of us if you allow your greed, allow the mind to run riot. Therefore, it is important that the intellect is brought into play, is strengthened, fortified. It's extremely important because we as human beings are gifted with two wonderful things. Number one, choice of action. Only we have the choice of being vegetarian, vegan, non-vegetarian, what is that? Fishitarian, what is it called? Pescatarian. All kinds of choices we have. No animal has that choice. A lion can't say, it's tiring to go hunting, so let me eat grass. Not available. A cow can't say it's boring to eat grass all your life, only one thing, let me go catch a chicken. Not possible. Only the human being has. It's not only in food. You can choose to be good, you can choose to be bad, you can choose to be caring, considerate, you can choose to be aggressive and angry. All these choices are there. Since we have the choice, we have also been gifted with the intellect with which to make the right choice. Now, if you don't use the intellect and don't develop it, what happens is you're making choices with a poorly developed intellect, and all the wrong choices in life that you have made are because of this. Either not use the intellect or intellect is not strong enough. The mind, therefore, weakens you. It's the intellect that strengthens. You have one attachment for a child, and that can ruin you, isn't it? Because you make wrong choices there. All this is happening because the mind falls for what we call as instant pleasure. In all our lives, we are doing that. Why do people, you don't have to educate a child on the pleasures of junk food. It automatically takes to it. A little kid, fries, I want fries. Fries, you call them? What is that? Chicken nuggets. All that, you don't need to educate a child. But eat vegetables, yuck. Don't want. I don't know what it is in that, but that is it. That which gives you pleasure in the beginning gives you sorrow in the end. And that which is a little painful in the beginning gives you everlasting happiness. How many of you exercise every day? Not bad. Even when you exercise every day, when you wake up in the morning, there is something in you which says, chalo yaar, go back to sleep. That is your mind. If you succumb to the mind, you stop exercising. All you have to do is fight it for a few seconds, just a few seconds, and then say, no, I must get out of bed. You enjoy, isn't it? That's what it is. But we don't know that that which gives instant pleasure gives you pain in the end. So all your life, you're picking instant pleasure and getting pain in the end. So what is the way out? The mind, ungoverned, is your greatest enemy. The same mind, governed, is your greatest friend. This is what the 6th chapter of the Gita says. And what governs? Intellect, correct. So develop that intellect, use the intellect. Consult your intellect and strengthen it. How do you strengthen it? The same way you strengthen the body. If you want a strong body, what do? Exercise. You want a strong intellect? Exercise that intellect. Think, question, inquire. Don't take things for granted. Ask anyone, why did you go to school? Arey, what a question. Everybody goes to school, so I went. Why did you go to university? Same reason. Why did you take a job? Everybody has to earn. Why did you get married? Everyone gets married, so I got married. Why are you suffering? Everybody is suffering. So I'm also suffering. Think. I'm not saying don't get married, but think and then get married. We just fall in love and then get married, finish. Then after that, lifetime of misery. We don't want to admit it. That's the thing. The other day, a couple invited me to dinner, and then he told me a story. He said, something happened between the husband and wife. And then he said, you can never win. Then he said, one time, the wife forgot to add salt in one dish. So he ate quietly. He says, if I tell her, she's going to scream at me. So he quietly went to the kitchen, helped himself to salt and ate. After 2 minutes, the wife came to eat and she realized there's no salt in the dish. So she looks at him and says, you didn't tell me that there was no salt. So that's the thing. You can never win in life. But use the intellect, strengthen the intellect. Then life is a breeze, believe me. So what it is like this. Now, the next is spirit. Body, mind, and intellect are inert, insentient, lifeless by themselves. But you and I are not lifeless. We are living, vibrant individuals. Where do we get this energy from? Where do you get the life from? What enables you to move your fingers? To speak, to hear, is this life-giving force, the spirit, which we call Atman or Brahman. Atman means self. That same power that is keeping the entire universe going is that which is pulsating in each one of us. So that's called Atman, the spirit, which we have never thought of because you can't see it. Do we see spirit in the world? Of course not. But it's like asking, do you see butter in milk? No. But you know there is butter in milk. And you also know there is a technology of extracting butter from milk, right? Which in India, every household knows and does it or did it. Here you buy butter separate, milk separate. And it's the same procedure for extracting spirit from the world, from your mind. Do you see electricity in electrical gadgets? Of course not, but you know it's there. So now, let's take a little quiz. Here are a few thoughts that originate either from the mind or intellect. All you have to do is think, determine which came from the mind and which came from the intellect. It's a little exercise to make sure that we all understand. Analysis, intellect. Friendship, mind or intellect, or both, preferably.